Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're having a great start of this Monday. And welcome to this new video right here, in which we're going to, I'm calling this video probably something like a critical update, because I think today is going to be quite important. What we have seen over the last 2 weeks or so is that Monday is actually quite bearish usually. So far, we have started out relatively well, as you can see, but then again, the volume has been quite low. Now, what I said this morning when I did my report in the Signal group is that low volume doesn't always matter, right? I mean, if you go back to all of the Augusts of the last couple of years, volume was always lower, right? So we're going to get some pretty big moves with low volume, and it doesn't always mean that that's a bad move or something, but that's something to be aware of, right? And at this point of time, like, yes, we've seen recovery, and that's also what we expected yesterday. Yesterday, I did a video, and I said, so, right, well, I think it's most likely we're going to get a little bit more of mean reversion to the upside, with the max being 116.4. But with this low volume, does that really mean something? No, not really, right? So that's what we'll talk about in this video. We'll cover XRP, we'll cover Ethereum briefly, although I have to say that my thoughts on those haven't changed for the last couple of days. Where we saw quite a lot of volatility, of course, over the course of the end of last week into the weekend. I would say structurally, like, Bitcoin actually changed more than XRP did, and Ethereum also did change, because Ethereum did lose the uptrend, but still. Okay, so yesterday we did a bit of a preparation for this week. As most of you know, we don't have a lot of economic data coming out, but what still matters is the development of the already existing fundamentals, right? I mean, over the course of the end of last week, but we also still had some headlines going into the weekend. We had quite a lot of headlines and development that's relevant for fundamentals. So what we have to see over the course of today is how that's going to be priced in. Now, what you can see so far is that the S&P 500 pre-market has opened relatively well, right? I mean, we've seen a bit of recovery here above the 30-day rolling VWAP and above the 200 EMA. So that's good to see. What we've also seen continue to develop is the Coinbase Bitcoin premium, which basically since yesterday 8 p.m. in my time zone, so that's like 6 UTC, we also started to have a Coinbase Bitcoin premium again. Which is fine, but it's very premature, and it's a very it's a very slim premium. So does that really matter something? No. And the number of rate cuts are also still pretty high. I mean, if you take a look at Kalshi, but also if you take a look at the CME Fed Watch, which is one of the best sources for probabilities on the rate cuts for 2025. What you can see, this is December, right? So for December, the highest probability at this point of time, I think, is actually what is it? This is like 3 rate cuts or something, right? So if you go to September, at this point of time, the probability of a rate cut in September is 80%, and that is quite bullish, right? Especially also like here you can see it's expected that the interest rate will be between 4 and 4.25%. And then October, you can see that the highest probability is that it's lower again. So for September and October right now, we're pricing in rate cuts, and I don't think, given all the fear of the tariffs, etc., that we had at the end of last week, I don't think that's fully priced in, and that's why further recovery definitely is a possibility. But then we do need to see the market calming down a little bit, right? And one of the main things you should watch for that is the volatility index, and the volatility index, as it stands right now, is also falling. So I don't think the fundamentals are good enough yet, but I do think there's a real window of opportunity for Bitcoin to get continued recovery. But that will depend a lot on the New York session and the US session today, all right? Because with the volume that we're seeing over the Asian session and the EU session today, I mean, that's barely anything, and we cannot really do something with that. So yeah, if we get strength with the US session today, we're probably going to be able to do something like this. And then from this, I mean, if the fundamentals continue to develop in a good way, we can also get back into that balance to the upside, which is ultimately what we want. But short term, I'm going to leave you with that. I think it's a little bit more likely that we are still going to test those levels to the downside. That we'll see further recovery, but then 116.4, I need to see some sort of a major change in the fundamentals, which I haven't seen right now. before I'll tell you, I think we can break above that. So for now, I'm going to have to be a little bit conservative and say that it's most likely that we'll do something like this still, or at least that it's best to it's best to assume that we're going to do that, right? Given the lack of strength from the fundamentals that we're seeing right now, which, like I said, can still change, but still hasn't changed at this point of time yet, in my opinion. So, like I said, XRP and Ethereum are looking the same. XRP found beautiful support right here at 2.75, as expected. I think this is most likely to start consolidating a bit, but this is, look, I mean, if you take a look at the altcoins right now, ultimately, everything is still very correlated to Bitcoin, right? You see Athena is still quite strong, but that's a little bit of a, we spoke about that yesterday. It's a bit of a risky pick, of course, given the price action over the course of the last week. But no, I mean, XRP is showing some strength also with low volume, but still, this is a good indication of some stability coming up. Same thing for Ethereum, right? I mean, Ethereum has lost the uptrend here on the 4-hour time frame. It's technically still holding the 12-hour time frame uptrend. So both Ethereum, XRP look good for some stability, which is great and which is what we want to see. And when we're talking about some other altcoins right here, Magic is a bit of a manipulated altcoin, but that's showing quite a lot of momentum. So maybe check that out. Spark is still showing some momentum, like I said, Athena, but I've told you my personal opinions on Athena as well. Stellar is actually quite strong. And one of my personal favorites, but that's also because I opened a position in that, is Litecoin. Litecoin is showing some good strength as well here. And it's at a major support level. So definitely keep your eyes on that as well. But more updates on altcoins coming tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll be fully back making the daily updates with good audio and good video as well. So hopefully I'll see you then. But for now, that's it. So take care today. It's going to be quite volatile and could still go both ways, especially with the current fundamentals. But that is at least what I think you need to know for now. So have a great day, everybody. Take care and bye.